Hi, it's Leslie Meredith with Breakbulk Events and Media. Here we are in Rotterdam, and I have Peter Molloy from Drewry, who's been with us quite a number of times. He's our resident expert, I'd say.
Oh, that sounds important. Sounds important. But yeah, a few times. I think this is my third time for Europe, and I did Middle East this year as well. So yeah.
Yeah, you did. That's so great. So you were talking about fleet capacity demand this morning, and can you maybe summarize a key point that the people here at Breakbulk and within the industry should understand what they really need to be thinking about?
Okay. Well, a few things. Yeah. So I think the key point is that when we estimate supply and demand balance and the utilization, we have added to our model an expectation of around 2.4 million deadweight tons of project carrier capacity to be added to the fleet over the next 5 years, additional to what's on the order book. So these are ships that aren't on the order book yet. And that would be my kind of key point right now, is that if this doesn't happen, a lot of our expectations will change. We see that you still see that demand is going to be there, especially on the project carrier side, and we won't have some of the ships to meet us. And as a result, we'll have a bigger increase in utilization on particular ship types, and that's what I would want to emphasize, and that it's on particular ship types.
What are those types?
It would be that all depends as well on the on the projects, you see, and this is also a good thing for anyone who wants to really understand when they're how we analyze the markets. It's very important that we have to make a lot of assumptions. But if anything, if you walk around any of the stands here, I don't think there's one project or one cargo that is the same. And that is where we have a big challenge when we analyze this fleet or we analyze demand, is because we make assumptions on that every ship adds a certain amount of capacity and it's all mixes together like one big happy family, but it's not the case, right? So basically we have to consider that certain ships will be better suited for other projects. Now, we're still expecting that we still need this additional capacity, but that still could mean that there will be undersupplies in other sectors of the same fleet. It would be very specific to the specification and capabilities of your vessels, but we overall have to make some assumptions so we can analyze at a larger level where we think the supply and demand is going.
Right. And so, excuse me, are these ships being built?
There's a lot of ships added to the order book. A lot of it on the general cargo side, we've seen more ships added there. But our expectation is that was replacement tonnage. On the project carrier side, we'd be concerned that we think it's around at the moment 2.4 million deadweight tons of capacity missing from the order book over the next 5 years. Now we have added that to our model. So any expectation on our utilization balance is on the assumption that those ships will come. But we also are realistic that there is an issue with building slots, what ship to build, and the difficulty in making the decision. But as time ticks on, I will have to actually remove those expectations and start adjusting the model accordingly. But our current estimates, if anyone's looking at the presentation afterwards, is that does assume these ships are coming. So,
Right. And so, what can you tell me about the sort of prevailing feeling of uncertainty in the market?
I'm uncertain about it. So I would say we have added the recent uncertainty. So we have a lot of new geopolitical. We have tariff wars. We have different messages coming out about the conflicts, whether they'll be settled, whether they'll be not. But that is one parcel of uncertainty for this market. It's only one of them. And if we're talking about the supply of the fleet, we can go back 6 months before a lot of the uncertainty. We can even go back before the conflicts And the other uncertainty still remains of what fuel type, what specification of vessel, what to build. And so although there is now added uncertainty, if we were to remove these situations, I don't know if it would still make that decision any easier. Because these assets last for 20 years, 30 years, and they will still be around well into 2050 if you build it today. So I think that would be my issue with uncertainty is, even if the most recent stuff that's distracting us or is very topical at the moment,
Yes.
if that all went away, we would still have all those problems of trying to solve what to do next that we had even a couple of years ago. And that would be my main concern for uncertainty.
Right. Well, that's good advice to kind of, I'm going to say, cut through the clutter and get to that fundamental.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think one of the things I find most interesting is we know about some of the problems, what fuel to choose, or what engine put on your vessel. But another big question, which is specific to our industry. I mean, a lot of the other industries where they're working with homogeneous cargoes, like a tanker will take a fluid cargo, no problem. But they have the same issues about what fuel to choose. We have the added issue of the ships are also needed to perform a particular task. It does move cargo, but even our idea of cargo is changing. And we need more, we would need to see that there's a bit more cooperation between, say, the people who are designing these future projects. Like, they need to come forward and give a more clear idea of what kind of ships they need to use these, because it's very good to plan your projects, but if the ship doesn't exist to move the cargo, you're going to have a big problem very fast when it comes to execution. And that is where we have that added problem of not only fuel and efficiency, legislation compliance, and what the possible future legislation will be over the next 20 or 30 years. We also have this issue of, well, how big are wind turbines going to be? Where are these projects happening? What is the best lifting capacity? Will you have infrastructure at the project where the project is that you don't need such high lifting capacity, or do you need more lifting capacity?
Right.
That stuff we just needs to be also clarified, which adds to the problem.
Sounds like a new breakbulk idea. So thank you for that.
No problem. No problem.
We'll work together.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds like a plan.
All right, Peter. Thanks so much.
No problem.
Okay.